Can y'all stay in there?
So just what is it you're doing?
I'm trying to block the dogs so they can't get in this part of the camper to train the little one. And the little one is going to just...
Get off my table.
Pardon the mess.
Hey, get down. Get down.
Is just going to find a way over. Oh my gosh.
Explain to me again what you're doing.
Well, see, he never climbs and jumps, ever. Can't believe you showed the mess.
It's the mess you've made.
No, not the rest of the mess.
Which is known as a cast. They're actively called wolves at stop because of this pack mentality. So we see interrelationships form.
My wife is awesome. Got us situated?
Yeah, my arm's gonna get tired, so talk fast.
Oh, talk fast. Good morning, welcome to 54 Nights. I'm Chris, that's Terry. I'm talking fast. We are at Lake Murray State Park in southern Oklahoma. Today is RV show day. One of the reasons we come down to Lake Murray when we go to the Dallas RV show is it's kind of halfway between the house and Dallas. And we got here at 8 o'clock last night. Yes, I know there are closer places to stay for the RV show, but we got here at 8 o'clock last night. I don't want to get down to Dallas at 10 o'clock and setting up camp.
And our favorite casino is nearby. There's that too.
Well, okay. If you've got a gambling problem.
Oh, really?
But yeah, it's RV show day. So...
Sorry I'm making you sick here.
It's a long weekend for us. When we go to the Dallas RV show, I take Thursday and Friday off work.
And so do I.
We have us a nice relaxing weekend. We go to the RV show on the first day because we're less likely to be locked out of coaches because they were sold. Because you get around Friday, Saturday, Sunday, there's coaches and RVs that are sold and you can't get into them because they don't want us grubby people messing up the...
Which is good, because if I bought one, I wouldn't want grubby people messing up my...
RV.
No, I stopped because you stopped.
I know you did. You're making fun of me. You always make fun of me. We'll be back. So the Dallas RV show is a long day for us, if it's the typical Dallas RV show. So, you know, our first stop, of course, is Cracker Barrel. We have to grab, we need energy. We need fuel for the day, because by the end of the day, we are going to be tired. Walking and walking and walking.
Yeah, and then we'll hit this point where we're hungry and we're tired and we're like, oh my gosh, look at our watch. We've been in here for 4 hours. It happens. It really surprises us. We have fun. I guess that's what that means.
Yep. So, we're going to run into Cracker Barrel, find us something to eat, and then drive the rest of the way into Dallas during rush hour traffic, which is awesome. It's great. I look forward to this every time we come down here. Rush hour traffic.
Why does your voice
Dallas
crack when you get sarcastic?
It's not sarcastic. I like it. It's fun. It's lots of fun. People jumping in front of you, no turn signals. If you use a turn signal, that's like a challenge to the guy in the other lane. It's awesome. I was actually told that by a cousin of mine who lives in Dallas.
But it's a
challenge. No, you don't use a turn signal. That's a challenge to the guy in the other lane.
But the good news is we're driving the little car. We're not driving the camper, so it's all good.
Yeah. It's going to be a fun day. We're going to go get fueled up. Lucky for me, we still have half tank in the Subaru, so I don't have to fuel up quite yet. The car. Me, I'm on empty. So is she.
Hey.
What?
Stomach.
Yeah, that too. Looks like we made it.
Oh my word.
We're here. Wasn't too awful bad. You know when you've got like 3 or 4 dogs in a room.
Oh boy.
And then you let another dog in the room, and they all go around.
I don't want to know where this is going.
Sniffing each other's hind ends.
Oh.
That's like getting on the interstate in Dallas. Okay, it's almost 10 o'clock, almost time for opening, so... And
we usually have to stand in line outside for a while, which is, fortunately, is not, the weather isn't bad like it has been in the past.
Yeah.
We're standing out in the line.
We're going to go inside, we're going to see what we can see and wear ourselves out. We'll catch y'all in a bit. Breakfast was good, by the way.
It was really good.
We'll catch you in a bit. Okay, show started at 10 o'clock. It is now 3:30. And we're done.
That's us at the Dallas show every year. I was a little disappointed.
Well, I'm a little and a little not.
Right.
The place was packed with
packed.
RVs. There were a ton of RVs, but there's 2 major dealerships that weren't at this particular show, and they've been at every other show we've been to over the years.
And they happen to be the 2 that we're most interested in our personal search.
Yeah. So this show didn't have Newmars, no Tiffins, no Airstreams, and kind of a shortage on Class Bs.
I think everything else was well represented.
Yeah, Fleetwood's never at this show. I mean,
I didn't even think about that. Yeah,
the Rev Group, they've got different brands, but their Fleetwood brand, they're never at this show.
I don't know why I did not notice that. Probably because they're never here. So I just
tons of Winnebagos, Grand Design, Keystone.
Well, you got more of all of those because they're taking, because it was full. It was totally packed.
yeah.
So obviously you're going to have more of things because they're taking up all the space that the Newmars and the Tiffins usually take. So.
And really, we would have sat down in one of the RVs and did this update.
It was busy with people too.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! I don't think we went into one camper that there wasn't somebody in at some point while we were there. Not a single one.
Yeah, and some of them were salesmen. The salesman this year, I don't know. Wow, the shading just keeps changing. I can't stay in the sunlight here. Anyway.
It's worse.
Yeah.
No, it's just my chin.
Yeah, so, something about this year, the salesmen were, they were like vultures. I mean, they really were. Camping World had this big, huge air control tower type setup there. Bunch of guys at computers looking all serious and looking out. And they weren't the only ones, because there was like a flock of Camping World salesmen.
We were like, did they close down their location?
My gosh, they had to shut the gates at the lot. They had to, because there's no way one Camping World location employs that many people. Jeez, and they weren't and Camping World wasn't the only one. Holiday World or whatever, they had a miniature version of that set up. Wasn't quite the whole, looked like something out of a military
they look like
movie.
the tax people or something.
Yeah, but
I didn't even think about that.
So yeah, we would have sat down in an RV to record this update.
We were never alone.
On, but no,
never.
We couldn't stop and make out. Nothing. I mean, it was just.
It was ridiculous. I mean, yeah.
So, anyway, we got a few walkthroughs. Probably, I guess really we got about the average number of walkthroughs we get when we come down to the Dallas show, because we seem to wear out about the same time every time we come down here.
Yeah.
We just reach a point where it's just like we don't care anymore.
And then the quality of the walkthroughs for you guys are going to suffer, because we're like, oh, do we really want to open a cabinet? Nah, you know what's in that cabinet. It's space.
Yeah. Oh, looky, it's a shower. Yeah, but anyway, it's time for the drive home.
Oh, you're right. That sun, now it's in my eyes.
Yeah, it's
It must be the way the clouds are.
We just picked a particularly poor location for recording this, so we'll catch up with you guys a little bit later. Quit it. Being a punk. So now that we're back here in some halfway decent light, we're back at the camper. It's been a long day. It's been a fun day. There was a couple of RVs that we saw that were pretty neat. One of them, it was a fifth wheel, a front living fifth wheel, the master bedroom in the back, and then above the master bedroom was a loft.
And not just your normal like bunk loft. Nothing. It was almost like a bunk room loft.
Yeah, it was pretty. And that same trailer had a back door.
And when you're standing in the master bedroom, it didn't feel like there was anything above you, because it was the normal length, normal height. I mean, it was. Yeah,
the
cool.
the ceiling height was normal, because the floor was down lower.
It's crazy.
That was a neat one. What was one of the other ones that caught our attention?
One outside.
On the south side, it was a Grand Design trailer, and it was. I'm interested to look it up and see what the weight is on it, because the living area was huge.
Oh, it was like a fifth wheel with the living room in the.
Yeah, like a front living fifth wheel. Only this was the living room in the back of this bumper pull trailer.
You would think you were in a fifth wheel. Huge operating windows in the dining area. We still have, after a full day at the RV show, we still have a couple of full days at the lake. Wow.
It's going to get down in the 20s tonight. Wow. Yes. Tomorrow it's actually going to be a little bit warmer than what it was here today. Right now, the wind is blowing so hard, it feels like it's in the 20s outside.
Looking at the water on the lake, it's moving fast.
Yep.
They're getting blown around.
It looks like a river out there,
yeah,
actually.
it does. It really does.
But, anyway, we ready?
As long as they don't fall down, yeah.
Okay, it's Saturday. It is Saturday. We went to the RV show Thursday. We did nothing Friday, so we didn't record anything.
Nothing is good.
Nothing is always good. You know, I gave the Camping World Command Center a little bit of grief. Honestly, I don't necessarily agree with their tactics, but they're doing it for a reason. 2019 was sales were down on new RVs. Even though it was the 4th best year for new RV sales,
Yeah.
they were down. So that tells you how the previous years were. So, you know, they're doing what they need to do or what they think they need to do to
Business decisions.
generate more sales. As nauseating as it was. Sorry, I couldn't think of a better word for it. Nauseating fits.
Nauseating fits? Like, you know, epileptic fits, but
Really,
they're nauseating
really.
ones.
You know, the RVIA or whatever it is, they say that sales are going to be up in 2020. Historically, they have always painted a rose tinted picture I guess to try to generate excitement, so we'll see. Anyway, the show, as disappointing as it may have been as far as the dealers that were there, you know, because a couple of the key dealers...
Yeah, not the dealers that were there, the dealers that were not there.
Yeah, a couple of the key dealers were not there this time around, and so that was a little disappointing. But as disappointing as it was a very productive day. Over 20 walkthroughs we recorded, which means we've got a lot more work to do to get those put together so you folks can see them. And then we got to stop in and visit with the folks at the National Recreational Vehicle Inspectors Association.
There were vendors there.
And it was very helpful because their website, I think I mentioned earlier, it's not real clear. I mean, maybe it is for some folks, but for me it just wasn't clear enough. But the reason we want to become RV inspectors, and for a couple of reasons: to get a gimbal that holds still and doesn't move.
You'll get one of those for RV inspectors.
You know, I'm very excited about retirement. We're just under 4 years away from retirement, working towards that goal. Of course, we've been working towards that goal for 30 plus years now. Very excited about it. And those of you who have retired, you understand this mixed bag of emotions. Very exciting time of life and a very scary time. You know, I'm making darn good money. Of course, if I wasn't, I'd be moving on somewhere else. But I'm making darn good money doing what I'm doing. And the day after I retire, I'm not going to be making that money. I'm lucky enough to have a pension, and I've got our investments, so we'll be making a livable income. I've got it budgeted out where, you know, we will be traveling. We'll be full-timing, or at least most of the timing. Still be able to carry on our season tickets at OSU football.
Which is Oklahoma State, not Ohio State, by the way.
Yeah, the OSU. Yeah, take that, Ohio State. But, you know, some of the other things we may end up having to sacrifice, some of the things that we've been able to enhance our vacations with. I mean, it's not going to be a vacation when we go full time. So there's a lot of things we're not going to be able to afford to do. You know, eating out, we'll have to limit our museum visits and things like that just to fit our budget. So, you know, a way for us to supplement that retirement income is to become RV inspectors. For those that don't know, RV inspectors, it's kind of a new-ish thing. They put this group together back in 2014. We are off the trail and people are talking loud enough where they want everybody in the state park to hear what their conversation is.
They probably think the same about us, though.
Maybe we should listen in.
Betsy, no. Nope.
Now they're investigating it, barking coyotes. They stopped. They looked. What's going on over there? Is it a coyote? It's a giant dog. The coyote's going to attack us. They still stopped. They're still looking.
Fitzy's feeling very...
Still wondering, are they going to come this way, investigate?
Poor people.
Okay, if you're watching this video and that was you, I'm sorry. But it's funny.
It's funny to him.
But the RVIA was put together back in 2014, and it's a certification process for people to be able to purchase their RV with a little bit of comfort of knowing what they're getting, really.
It's not like a house. If you've got a leak, the whole thing could be just, you know, worthless.
Yeah.
I mean, a leak that somebody covered up and
yeah, or somebody, you know, bought an RV on one of the pages that she follows, and they're like, oh, so this is why it smelled like air freshener so strong in this RV.
It was mildew. It was covering up mildew smell.
Yeah, and if they had hired an inspector to do the inspection work on that RV prior to that, they would have known. Now, would it have swayed their decision on whether or not to buy the camper? You know, yes or no. I mean, I don't know, but
and the interesting thing is the inspector doesn't give that. It doesn't say you should buy, you shouldn't buy. They just say, okay, this is what I found.
Yep.
And they leave it at that.
There you go.
It's kind of cool.
This is what it is. You make the decision, and it falls back on what you guys have heard me say it often. You know, just know what you're getting into. Go in with your eyes wide open. And that's what an inspector helps you do. It helps you go into a purchase with your eyes wide open. Okay, yeah, it's got a propane leak. I need to fix that before we do anything, or I could blow up. You know, but you know this stuff going in, and then you can make a decision on
informed decision.
Yeah, on whether or not you want to buy a fixer-upper or something that needs just a couple of little things done, or if you want to move down the road. So, you know, becoming RV inspectors does a couple of things for us. Number one, it gives us a supplemental income, you know, something that we can do when we feel like it. It's not a 40-hour week job. It's just something that if we need some money, or if we have the time when somebody needs an inspection, we can do it.
And would you say earlier that we help people?
Yeah, and
which is kind of cool.
It's a way for us to help people enter this wonderful world of RVing and enjoy it. You know, the sad truth is when somebody buys an RV and then, you know, after their first or second trip, they find out that used RV they bought is junk and falling apart, they give up on the lifestyle. And they don't just give up on that camper, they just throw in the towel. Okay, we're done with this, let's try boating.
And you know, likely you've been in a house your entire life. You know what a house is supposed to do, what it's not supposed to do. But there's a lot about campers people don't know. I think one question somebody asked on that same group is there was a pole that holds up the bunk end on a hybrid, which, you know, has pop-up type beds. And fortunately, we and some of the other people in that group have had pop-ups in hybrids, and we recognized it instantly. It's a thing to hold up the roof, basically, of the beds. But they didn't know what it was. It just shows how it's not like a house. It's something that's totally foreign to some people.
Yep. I mean, it's just a way to help out people and a way to supplement our income. Once we get through all that process, it's an expensive process. And that was one of the reasons I was putting it off. We've been looking at this for months, but the other reason I was putting it off because some of the things I wasn't real clear on. as far as the path and how much money I needed to spend to get this certification.
Certificate. I kind of like that. Sounds like a plural form from a French origin or something. I don't know French.
when once we get through this, we'll do a little bit more in-depth video on that part of it. But anyway, we're gonna get back to enjoying this morning walk and
stop scaring people.
We're gonna go chase down these people with this giant coyote we have.
Yeah. Can you get them?
We'll be back. So the Dallas RV show, one of the things we didn't get to see was the Thor has, and a couple other different manufacturers have brought about the F550 chassis Super C. Traditionally the Super C is on that Freightliner chassis. We didn't get to see one of the F550s at the show.
But we have one camped beside us.
Yeah, we got one camped right over here next to us, but we didn't get to see one at the show. I really wanted to see how the inside worked because it's a marketing thing, I know. F550, it's a Super C, But
is it a Super C? Because it's not a truck.
Yeah.
It's not an 18-wheeler.
Yeah, it's not a Freightliner chassis.
Right.
I don't know. To me, it's just another Class C, which, nothing wrong with it. I think the F550 chassis is probably a pretty good platform. But anyway, we didn't get to see one of those. And, there were still a lot of 19s at the show. And
not as many as Oklahoma City.
Right. Oklahoma City was primarily 19s.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess that just goes to show the down year that they had last year. They bit off more than they could chew, a lot of these dealerships. So.
Expectations.
Yeah. In years past, we hadn't seen previous years in the spring show. In the fall show, you still get it, but in the spring show, we didn't.
Right.
Right. It was fun. It was a productive weekend. It was a nice 4-day weekend.
5-day weekend would have been better. Would have been nicer. I'm just saying.
Life is good. I spent the last 2 years working every available day. There was definitely not a work-life balance involved. 13 nights so far in 2020, and it's February. So hopefully I've done what everybody else in America does. If it's bad on one side, I go way over to the other side.
It's kind of the trend nowadays.
Yeah, instead of somewhere in the middle. So I'm going way over to the other side. I'm taking as many days off as I possibly can. Standing here in muddy jeans from the bike ride yesterday. Got my beautiful wife standing next to me at Lake Murray at our favorite site. Life is good. Get your yard ornament, take it to the lake, find out how good life can be. We'll catch y'all down the trail.